Hello, travelers. Welcome to Reach the World. For over 20 years, Reach the World has used virtual exchange to inspire youth to become curious, confident, and compassionate global citizens. My name is Tim, and I'm so glad you're joining us for today's Meet the World event. The Meet the World program builds positive personal connections between students in the US and global cultures, all through direct interactions with real people who are excited to share their cultures and countries with you. For a complete listing of upcoming Meet the World live stream events, you can visit athome.reachtheworld.org. Today, we're connecting with Diana Contreras. Diana is a Fulbright foreign language teaching assistant from Veracruz, Mexico. This year, she's teaching Spanish remotely at Bard College in New York, and she's joining us today to talk about the unique states of Mexico and some special Mexican traditions around chocolate. Before I turn things over to Diana, though, I want to welcome the teachers and students who are watching today's Meet the World live stream event. Please feel free to use the YouTube chat bar to let us know you're here, where you're joining from, and of course, to share any questions you have for our guest as we go. We'll get to as many questions as we can in the next 30 minutes, but without delay, it's time to take a journey to Mexico. Diana, welcome to Reach the World.
Hello, Tim, and hello, everyone. Thank you for that presentation. I will love to start this presentation. I'm honored to be here today with you to present this tour of Mexican states. And I would like to show you a random picture that I found on the internet. It's about Mexico. So we have this picture of Mexico and what Mexico is in American movies, but not only in American movies. Generally speaking, some people who haven't been to Mexico have this idea of Mexico with cactus and arid zones. And today, after this presentation, we will get to know a little bit more about 7 regions in Mexico. And hopefully, besides piñatas, mariachi, sombreros, you will have another perspective from the different regions. I would like you to learn what people do in these different regions, how do they live, and what do they live, what the weather looks like, and other fun facts about these different regions. Finally, I would like to mention some information about the origin of chocolate in Mexico. And let's start then with the first 2 regions of Mexico. We have Northwest here in pink color on the map. And in the Northwest, as you can see, the states that are here are near to the Pacific Ocean. And because of that, there is a rich climate. Most of people work on the agriculture and tourism sector. So you can go there and visit different touristic attractions and look at the sea life that we have here. In the picture, you can see the Sea of Cortez, which is also known as the world's aquarium because of the variety of marine species that you can see there. And for something more to learn, I would like to mention that there is the biggest Chinese population in Latin America in this area. So if you study Chinese or you like a Chinese culture as well, you could visit Tijuana and try some of the best Chinese versions of food because they have mixed Mexican ingredients and Chinese cuisine, and it has impacted the gastronomy in this area. Then let's move to the Northeast. The Northeast is on the map in yellow, orange color. And here the climate changes drastically. It is an arid climate and there are not many opportunities to grow food. But in contrast, we can find that many manufacturing companies have settled there. And nowadays, these states, which are Coahuila, Nuevo León, Tamaulipas, they provide the best growth figures for the Mexican industry. In this north part of Mexico, you will see a lot of people wearing hats, listening to banda and norteño music. And of course, they love carnita asada. They have a different accent. We can recognize a person from the north part of Mexico because of the accent. And after this, we can see that the north part, yes, it has extreme weather, but there are also different landscapes in this area. Now let's move to central Mexico. In central Mexico, you can find here on the map the blue and white states. Central Mexico, it's divided into north and south central. In North and South Central, we have different states in which the biggest economical activity is the industry. And in Mexico City, that is the picture that you can see right now, there are different services, museums, and touristic attractions that you can visit there. If you like to visit cities, I also recommend you to go to Querétaro. Querétaro has been ranked as one of the safest cities to live with the highest quality of life in Latin America. And it combines a colonial style with a modern style of living. You will see as well a lot of people from all around Mexico or different countries, Brazil, Germany, France, United States, because they come here to work in the aerospace industry. Therefore, you will visit restaurants with new innovations in gastronomy that combine different ingredients or French food and Italian food with Mexican food. In this area in central Mexico, there is also a new trend for wine, and Mexican wine is produced in this area. It sounds very European, but you can try cheese and wine and spend your day in a winery in Mexico. And it's a really good experience if you want to get to know about history. The movement of independence started here. So you will see a lot of colonial architecture, and you will get to know all these beautiful landscapes of streets and old colonial style. Then, if we move to the west part here on the map, which is in yellow, you will find different states such as Aguascalientes, and here you will see a lot of plantations of agave, if you see. Sorry, it's Guadalajara, Jalisco. And these are agave plants. These agave plants are used to produce tequila. And you can visit these areas to learn more about the production of tequila, but also you can go to the cities there, which are a big financial center for Mexico. A few years ago, I went to an event there, which is called Campus Party. In Campus Party, it holds about 30,000 students and just people, 30,000 people from all Latin America who go there to network with different companies or people who have innovated in technological advances in Latin America. It is an event of 5, 7 days with conferences 24 hours. And I highly recommend you to visit these places to get to see different perspectives from Latin America and all this innovation and the work that young people are doing here. From west, we move to the east part of Mexico. The east part of Mexico is Veracruz, Puebla, Tlaxcala, and here, as you can see in the picture, we have a volcano, and this is an active volcano. Every morning, you can wake up, look at the window, and see this volcano. This is in the city of Puebla. This is the Cholula Church. And thanks to these volcanoes that are in this area, we have Popocatépetl, Citlaltépetl, Malintzin. All these volcanoes help the climate there. And there is a lot of agriculture as the principal activity for these people. But not only agriculture, there is also um, big change in automotive companies because now we have suppliers, we are suppliers for Germany or Brazil or United States, and that is in Puebla. And in Veracruz, there is nuclear energy. So you will get to see pretty modern city, but with lots of Mexican traditions. Here you can look at the food that we have here. If you visit the east part of Mexico, I highly recommend you to try all the food, as much food as you can, because they combined the indigenous traditions of salsas and fruits that were like from this area with new trends of Mexican cuisine and different ingredients that came from Spain. So I recommend you to try a lot of the gastronomy in the east part. And finally, I would like to talk about the south part. The south part in Mexico is divided into the west part here, which is Chiapas, Guerrero, Oaxaca, and the the southeast part, which is Campeche, Tabasco, Quintana Roo, and Yucatan. And thanks to this area, the tropical climate helps people to grow food, and you will see and try different fruits that you cannot find in the rest part of the country. These fruits are delicious, and you can also try seafood. And here is where cacao is grown or cultivated. Then you can also visit most of the important archaeological sites that we have in Mexico. There are many civilizations that settled down here. We have different cultures such as Zapotecas and Mayas. And the Mayan culture in the southeast part of Mexico, and in the southwest, Zapotecas culture. Here in the picture, you can see Monte Alban, which is located in Oaxaca. And in Oaxaca, you will try and see a lot of these traditions from the Zapotec culture, food, of course. If you go to Chichen Itza, this is one of the wonders of the world because of the architecture. Every year, there is a phenomenon that you can see if you go there in spring, the shadow of a snake, which is known as Quetzalcoatl, a feathered snake. Uh, you can see the phenomenon as going down. This snake is going down the pyramid, but this is just an effect of the sun. And you can experience that, and you can visit these important places. And of course, if you are there in the south, you could visit Guerrero. Guerrero, it's an important producer of silver in Mexico. So you can buy a lot of things from silver. And Mexico is also an important country which exports silver around the world. So here you can see and find a lot of products made of this metal. And finally, I would like to mention some of the things that Mexico has given to the world. One of these things is corn. Corn was first found in Puebla, Tehuacan, Puebla, and also vanilla. Vanilla is originally from Veracruz. I am from Veracruz, so I would like to talk about this a little bit. These products are important and an important part for our Aztec culture and just our beliefs. Aztec culture believed that we Mexican people are made of corn. So that is, we use corn for tortillas and food in general. And the star of this presentation, chocolate, Mexican chocolate. Did you know that the cacao was first grown or processed here in Mexico? Even if we know that European chocolate, Swiss chocolate is delicious, the cacao started here in Mexico. And I would like to share this story with you, which is the history of chocolate. According to the Aztec culture, this is a god, which is Quetzalcoatl, a feathered snake. And Quetzalcoatl gave men the plant of cacao, the cacao tree. And nowadays, the scientific name is Theobroma cacao, which means the food of gods. And this was a precious product at that time. At that period, the the seed of cacao was used as a currency. Imagine the value of this plant. They made drink with chocolate and water and some species, and it was used only for governors and important people. When Spanish people came to Mexico and tried this, they took it with them to Spain and they started to produce more and more chocolate. Then it was taken to France, Switzerland, where they added milk and hazelnut, and now we see a different presentation of chocolate. But the original chocolate was created in Mexico, and I will give you the recipe, but it's among us. You cannot share this with the world. This traditional chocolate, it's produced in Oaxaca, Chiapas, and Tabasco. To make this traditional chocolate, you will need a metate, which is a tool for people in the kitchen to grind the seeds of cacao. So you need a metate, you grind the seeds, and you add some vanilla from Veracruz, some pepper from Tabasco, and a little bit of cinnamon. And that's how you get dark chocolate. It's a little bit dark, sour. It's not very sweet. You can eat it or you can drink it with a little bit of hot water, and then you move this drink. And we drink chocolate for different occasions. When a baby is born, the godmother gives chocolate, hot chocolate to the family. Also, when we celebrate the Day of the Dead, we drink chocolate and we put chocolate on the altar of the Day of the Dead. And in February, we have a tradition which is called the Candelaria, and uh, we eat bread which has food on the top of it, and we drink chocolate with that. So chocolate represents traditions. It has important value for us, and well, that's what we can offer to the world. That will be all, and I will be glad to answer your questions if I can.
All right, Diana, thank you so much. Do you want to come out of screen share so we can see you a little bit
Sure.
bigger? Thank you. That was fascinating. I know I speak for the entire world when I say thank you for chocolate. It's just thank you.
Yeah, nowadays chocolate is produced in Central and South America, in Africa, in Asia,
Mhm.
but Mexico is not a big producer right now, but it is the origin of cacao and chocolate.
Where it comes from. That's fascinating to hear that history. Thank you so much. I'm curious to know how you have learned so much about the different states of Mexico. Have you visited a lot of the different states? And if so, besides your home state, what would be your favorite, or what's the one that you'd go back to time and time again if you could?
I've been to different states in the south part and central part of Mexico because I love traveling. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to be in all the 32 states of Mexico, but I love to visit Chiapas and Oaxaca. Oaxaca will be one of the best to represent Mexican traditions, gastronomy, and you have just a lot of culture to see there. And they talk in this native tongue, which is Zapoteco, and I love that state. But just as a tourist, to live, I would love to live in Mexico or Mexico State or in Querétaro.
Okay, very good. In the United States right now, Halloween is coming up, and people often associate that, rightfully or wrongly, with the Dia de los Muertos
Yes.
in Mexico. I wondered, besides you mentioned that chocolate is a part of your tradition for that celebration, what are some of the other ways that you celebrate that holiday?
This holiday is more familiar. It has to do with the relatives who have passed away. And what I see is that we connect with our families in those days. And we usually put a lot of food on the altar, like tamales, chocolate, and pan de muerto, bread, but it represents bones of a skull, and calaveritas de azúcar, which are traditional candies like a skull but made of sugar. And yes, that's another way that we represent or we celebrate these days. We dress up as Catrinas, and we spend days just with family because it's a good chance to visit our grandma or just our family, our close family, and get together. Because those days, people usually take days off from school and we just get together.
All right, wonderful. We have another question from the online audience asking specifically about coffee in Veracruz. Is there a particularly special or different or unique way of drinking coffee or preparing coffee in Veracruz?
Yeah, what is particularly and unique is that no matter the weather, people love drinking coffee in the morning and in the evening. And we could be like in super hot weather, just like right now, and they enjoy a cup of coffee. um, Here right now, I have coffee plants outside my house, and I have get to know about this long process. And people have their homemade coffee. They
Mm.
have their own coffee, they grind their own coffee and enjoy their coffee, but from their backyards. So that will be unique, I will say.
Do you do that as well? Do you harvest your coffee?
I don't, but my grandma does.
Do you know what is the process of taking a coffee bean? Have you helped her, or are you familiar with that?
Yes, I remember since I was a little child, she will take us to pick the coffee beans, but they are red in red color. When you pick them, you then need to wait until the seed is enough, let's say, ready to then dry it under the sun. They usually, you will see on the houses in the backyard the coffee beans, and they are just under the sun waiting to be toasted. and they toast the coffee beans, and they grind the coffee beans. They add some sugar or cinnamon. It depends on the family recipe. And then it's ready to drink.
That sounds so good right now. A lot of kids and families in the United States do a lot of travel and exploration with different cultures by eating. And I know that Mexican cuisine is very popular in the United States. I wondered if you could recommend maybe one or two additional dishes that might be new to people who are just generally familiar with Mexican cuisine, where they could try a really traditional dish from Veracruz, or they could try a very traditional dish from another state.
From Veracruz, I recommend seafood, which is different. And I am not sure if there are many options in American restaurants of Mexican food eh, with seafood. And another dish that I would recommend you to try is chiles eggnogada, which is particularly from Puebla. And it takes 3 days to prepare a chile eggnogada. You need to wait for the fruit in that specific season, which is August, July and August. And the when the fruit is ready, because it's special from this area in Puebla, when this fruit is ready, they need to chop the fruit, and then they need to season this fruit with meat, and they take a chili, and they stuff this chili with fruit and meat, and they put a sauce made of nuts like walnut, and it's delicious. It tastes a little bit sweet, so I guess you could try it, and I will say it's not spicy, but it depends on you.
I think you've gotten everybody thinking about food now, because now there's a lot of chat in the chat bar about mole in particular.
Yes,
Do you have anything you want to add about mole?
mole is particularly, I don't know, because there are different styles or different kinds of mole. If you go to the south part of Mexico, that is traditionally like the dish that they offer. In Oaxaca, they have like 7 different styles of mole. In Puebla, there is another style of mole, and in Veracruz. So you have to try them all. They vary between sweet or spiciness, or sweetness, spiciness, or some ingredients, because it's a mix of different chilies, and the process is different. And they have different dishes with mole, which are enmoladas, like these enchiladas that you might know, but instead of salsa, they put mole. Or you can have pambazos with mole, which are bread stuffed with chicken and mole. Or there are many combinations. Tamales with mole, filled with mole. And oh, now I'm feeling like having a dish like those.
I feel like everybody must be hungry after listening to that. What a great description. What a cool, I mean, it plays into the whole theme of your presentation that there are things that tie Mexican culture together from state to state, and there are also so many things that make the states distinct and unique from one another. And I feel like we've learned so much about that today. I really want to thank you, Diana, for taking the time to really explain and share your expertise with us. I know that I'm hoping soon that you will come and visit us. I know you're teaching remotely right now at Bard College in New York, and that hopefully we can get you here later this year. Real quickly before we go, I'm wondering, is there anything that when you get to New York, what are you looking forward to doing when you visit?
I would love to visit the different natural parks that you have there. I would love to visit Boston, not just New York, because I've been to New York before, and there are many like symbolic buildings that I would love to see, or just to go there again and see. And enjoy the city lights at night.
Fantastic. That sounds like a great plan. Hope you get here soon. We can't wait to have you here. Thank you again so much for joining us. Thank you also to our entire live stream audience for going on this journey with us today. Diana did an amazing job. Reach the World is going to be hosting many more Meet the World live stream events over the coming months. And you are all invited to virtually travel the world with us. You can visit athome.reachtheworld.org for much more information on upcoming events. And again, thank you all. We'll see you next time.